Benvenuti a tutti a una nuova puntata di Con i nostri occhi. Oggi io e la Vale siamo dislocate. Io mi trovo nel mio soggiorno in provincia di Milano, mentre la Vale si trova in diretta da Kathmandu, in Nepal, in compagnia di Bishal che coordina e gestisce i progetti attivi in Voluntary Society of Nepal, che è una NGO fondata e gestita da locali dal 2004 e che ha fatto tantissimo per migliorare e sviluppare l'accesso all'educazione per diverse comunità nella zona di Kathmandu, che è la capitale del Nepal, Pokhara, che è la seconda città più grande in Nepal, e nel villaggio di Salleri. Questo episodio è molto speciale non solo perché tocca vari valori e aspetti che molto cari sia a me che alla Vale, ma sarà appunto in diretta in un altro paese, quindi se ci saranno qualche problemina con l'audio, ci scusiamo in anticipo, ma soprattutto sarà un episodio in inglese. E per chi non ha familiarità con questa lingua, non vi preoccupate perché verrà sicuramente caricato su YouTube, dove peraltro ci sono le nostre altre interviste che non si possono assolutamente perdere, dove ci saranno i sottotitoli in italiano. So, hi Bishal, I'm so happy to be here and thank you for being here. And let's start.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ciao a tutti. Hi Bishal, thanks for being with us today. We know that BSN is very much involved in education to make education more accessible for Nepali communities. So why don't you tell us more about the main needs, let's say, in the country, and if there are any major differences. I'm thinking about education, but also basic service access and health. So between cities and more rural areas, what can you tell us about that?
Well, Nepal in general is very, like in terms of economy, it's very poor country. We lack resources of various things in healthcare, in education, infrastructure. So basically, pretty much everything we lack. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Political instability, and then sorry, yeah. So there's a lot of issue in Nepal actually. Um, so in terms of the rural, we have like two in Nepal. There's like two different kind of places. One is city area, one is rural area. It's very different. City is like well equipped with it. Schools, hospitals. The job opportunities are a lot here in the city, but in rural, it's totally different. Road wise is very bad, and then education wise, there's no proper schools, no proper teacher training there, no teachers there. Health care is also very very limited to very very small health clinic. So yeah, those are the very different, and then I think that's also a very difficult part of Nepal. Like there's two different area.
So you talked about all these aspects, right? Do you have maybe some examples to give?
Yeah. So let's say, like I think Valeria might have already seen Kathmandu pretty much. It's pretty well. It's not. I can't say it's developed, but it's well connected with the hospitals and then the schools. We have private schools, good educations. But if you go just outside of the Kathmandu, like let's say maybe an hour away from Kathmandu, then it's very different. There's no road connection. People have to walk multiple hours to reach school, to reach healthcare, and then there's no proper infrastructure in regards to exports or any other thing that very necessary for people. Like hospital is very 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 basic. So if anything happens to them, like severe injuries or anything, they need to come to Kathmandu or to other big cities. And then due to lack of road connection, it's also difficult. So they need to carry people to come to the health post or health clinic, and even the basic medicine is very very rare over there. like paracetamol, painkillers. Those are very, very scarce in villages. But here in Kathmandu, it's pretty accessible, you can say.
Can I ask you what is the current state of education and employment in Nepal?
So it's improving actually. It's I think year by year it's improving. Last census is around like 75% literacy rate in Nepal. But among them, it's majority of them are male. You know, almost let's say 80 to 85% male are educated, whereas female, it's around like 60%.
Okay.
So there's a vast difference between the education with the male and then the female.
Okay.
Primarily because the boys or the male used to go to school or sent to school, and then the girls were kept at the house to help with the house chores or farming, you know, and then helping at the family.
Yeah.
So still the case, but it's improving now a lot actually.
That's really good.
Yeah, and then employment wise, it's pretty bad in Nepal. Like most of our Nepali choose to go abroad to work for the employment, let's say to Qatar, to Dubai, or Saudi Arabia. So those all Gulf country where they can earn more than here in Nepal. Like, you know, the basic salary of Nepali, average salary is around 140 USD per month.
Oh, wow.
So that's very, very low to even survive, you know, later on, like fulfill your basic needs, like other needs. So most of the people choose to go abroad to do labor job. And then those who are here are still struggling with day-to-day life. This case in Kathmandu as well, outside of Kathmandu, is the same situation pretty much.
Thanks for sharing. And so you said pretty much the context, right,
Yeah.
of Nepal. So how was VSN born in this context, and what are the, let's say, the key values and the mission behind everything you do?
So I'll talk in terms of my founder, because I've been working here in this organization for the last 16, 17 years. It's been a long time, but it was originally founded by Tej Shrestha, so he's our founder. So before, because he was born in the village and came to Kathmandu for higher studies, and then after he finished higher studies, he worked with the international NGOs like Red Cross, United Mission Nepal, you know, those are different bigger organizations. And then what he found was very difficult to work with them to make any quick decision if there's any need. And then they were mostly involved with the bigger project, like not like a very local project. So he decided to stop working with them and then open a very grassroots organization where he will be involved with the local people, you know, helping the local people. And then, so this is how VSN was born back in 2004. So primarily focusing on the education, childcare, and then health. So these were the main motives for him to open a small local NGO where he can make a quick decision to give a bigger impact to the local community.
And can I ask you what are your key projects active at the moment?
So currently, one of the biggest and very successful project is a school that we opened in Kathmandu. So the reason you might ask, like, okay, why in Kathmandu, why not in village? The thing in Nepal now, after the civil war, we had a civil war back in like 15, 20 years ago. So most of the people in the village, they moved to Kathmandu because of security reason and also opportunity. So the villages now have less people compared to Kathmandu. But being in Kathmandu doesn't mean they are like well off, right? They don't have a lot of family are very, very poor, and then they cannot afford to send their children to a good education school. They have to send it to the government school, and the condition of government school is very bad. Like there's no education there. It's mostly politically influenced, and then so the private school where it's they usually have a good education, but most of the private school are very expensive. So his initial motto was to open a school where people who are in the underprivileged background can come to school and then study, but in very, very cheap price or free as well. So this is our biggest project now, and we have almost 1,100 children studying there in the school.
That's
And
nice.
so we have been running for last, started around 2006, 2007. So it's been running for a long time, and it's one of the really good school in this area in Kathmandu. And another project we are running is a women's center, women empowerment center. This is where Valeria helped us as well for a couple of weeks. So
That's
she does yeah, she does know how does it goes there, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's another project. Initially, we decided to open this because, as I told you before, the education of the women's are very, very low compared to the boys. And most of the women, they never got to go to school. Let's say from the village, they never got to basic education. But they also wants to learn in this world of globalization. There's they want to speak to a lot of people, read, write, do account money, and then so we thought, okay, maybe we can open a literacy class for them initially. And then so we opened this around like 2008, 7, around similar time. And then we have women coming there every day to learn English, mathematics, and then we also used to give them sewing classes, skill development classes, where they learn how to sew classes. So like clothing, and then but currently we are in the process of reopening that due to the COVID. We have to stop it, but hopefully by next year we'll be again reintroducing the sewing classes. And maybe other skill development that I was thinking, maybe a beauty parlor. They can learn how to do makeup and all, so
Oh,
they
that's
can open,
nice.
yeah, small store themselves. So give a service to the women's and then earn through those, right? So and then yeah, so this is our another project, and we have another project we call a disability center. This is a center for the intellectual disabled children, mostly intellectual. A few are disabled, like physically disabled as well, but most of them are intellectual. So we saw the need of this school as well, because this is where again Valeria helped again, like is helping now as well. But in Nepal, being a disabled, born as a disabled children is a taboo kind of. You are discarded from the society. People don't see you as a human beings. Even the family member find it very difficult to take care of their disabled children, even though they love them. But for them, they don't know how to take care of the disabled children, and they'll lock them inside the room. So they'll, yeah. So this used to be the case. Like they'll lock it whole day, and then the family member they go out work and come back, and then, but the children are very depressed by those. Because
Yeah,
I
of
think the
course.
disabled children needs love and then all the support as well. So we saw this thing going on. So we thought maybe it's a good idea. Maybe we can open a center for them, like a daycare center. So the father and mother they can bring their children to center, leave them there, so we can provide them different like physiotherapy depending on like availability, or care, or exercise. A place where they can come and be together with other same kind of disabled,
Yeah,
children. Um,
that
yeah.
is
So
so
currently,
important. Yeah, it's so
yes,
important for them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we've been running again since the last 20 years as well. It's been going really good. Around 15 to 20 children comes every day there still, and then their family can go to work because their family are also not well off, so they're financially very poor.
Yeah.
So this is another project that we run, a very successful project. And then so other project apart from that, we work with the different local organization here in Nepal, like a monastery, Buddhist monastery, and then also the health sector, like in hospital, we've been working with different organizations back in the other country as well to bring support to the hospital here by, like let's say like last 10 years, we've been working with an organization called Engineering World Health. So they send us biomedical engineer every year for about 3 to 4 months. And then we send them to a different part of Nepal, different villages, different hospital, and then they fix the equipment there. It's a free of cost, so the volunteer, they fix everything within like their time frame of like 2 or 3 months, and then they go back. So we work with different organizations to facilitate this effort to different parts of Nepal as well. So yeah, primarily we work with education and also with hospital, childcare, supporting a different other organization as well.
That's great, and I think you gave pretty much, an overview of everything that you're running at the moment. I had the privilege, I would say, to see some of these projects myself, and it was really amazing to see how you've developed, over the years to establish something, that is meant to last. It's not just temporary. So that was really nice. And may I ask something more personal about challenges, I would say, right? Because I'm sure this is not, easy to manage all these type of situations and projects. So what are the major challenges in your daily work?
So since like most of our projects are running for last 20 years, 15 to 20 years. And I think the major challenge still now is the funding. We want to have peace because most of our project runs on funding from volunteers, those who come to Nepal, and then also from the people who send, like good-hearted people who send donation from the different country. But it's not always like it's not a stable source of sources for our funding. But I think the difficult part has always been looking after the project without any thinking about how to run next day or how to sustain it, the longer run. So I think those are the very difficult part. Securing funding for continuous for like running the project that we have. Like if I talk about our school, it's currently funded itself. Before VSN, we did fund them, but now it's self-reliant. So it generates their own income, and then we don't support them anymore. But let's say the disabled center, women's center, and then the fundraising for other NGO, like other projects like monastery, those need funding because we don't ask for any money from the women's or neither from the disabled children, neither, and then we have to pay for the salary because almost every project that we have a Nepali staff, right? So I think that's the biggest challenge I can say now. To secure continuous funding for our project to run.
That's really nice. And I want to link to something you just said about the volunteering world and the Nepalese staff. Can I ask you what is your organization's approach to people involved in the projects?
So most of our projects have a Nepali staff as well.
Okay.
It's not only we rely on volunteer because we always think about like a longer run project. We do have volunteers, thankfully, like we have a lot of good-hearted people like Valeria come all the way from Italy to Nepal to help us. So so we do have support from like volunteer, but we always cannot rely on them as well. So we have set local people as our staff as well. In the school, we have around 150 staff. And then at the disabled center, we have currently 3 to 4 staff working there. At the women's center, we have currently 1 volunteer, so 1 Nepali teacher who looks after it. But the volunteer who comes here, they work together to give more impact. Like it's actually give and take. A volunteer comes from, like I said, from Italy, from Valeria. She comes here, she shares her expertise to the local staff here, and then same vice versa goes the other way as well. So it's very intertwine each other. They work together and share their expertise, and it helps us grow as well. So it's great together with the international volunteer and local staff. Yeah.
That is so good. I cannot wait to hear all the stories from Valeria about her experience there. And that's something I wanted to ask you actually. What do you think that the volunteer bring to the community, to the
Yeah.
local community when it works there?
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's mostly the experience they have in their country. Most of our volunteer are from a developed country, like from Europe or America, like Australia. So they have their good education. They have worked as well, And then in Nepal, we are very close society in Nepal. Um, the 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 information we get from are mostly from the internet. Now it's accessible, but before that, it used to be very, very strict. So the volunteer bring their expertise here. Like we bring a teacher trainer at the school as well. We bring a physiotherapist from different country to our disabled center, and then like general speaking volunteers to our women's center, even to school as well. Nowadays, like English is very, very important, so the volunteer can help with the communication as well. So I think it's the expertise they bring from their country, their education system, to our society here. Let's say, like if I want to give an example, our school, we send them a lot of volunteer, and the children are there very, very open. They're very open because of volunteer. Because volunteer, they encourage them to talk. They encourage them to speak up. This is not a common thing to do in Nepal. Children are very kept quiet. They are not like taught in. They're very taught in very strict environment. So the volunteer, when they attend the class, when they conduct the class, they teach the children to be very open and then ask questions. We have seen the change in the children in our school. If you compare to the other school, the children are very, very open, and then they like to speak, they like to learn, they have a lot of questions. So this is something that volunteer have bought, so their expertise, and then of course we have learned so many things from them as well. The teaching process, how they learn, even though they are not teachers, even they are not teacher trainer, but they will at least say like how they were taught in their school. So this can help the Nepali teacher to implement them in the Nepali students and help them grow. So yeah, so there's so many ways. There's so many ways that volunteers from other country are helping. But if I can remember now, this is like very, very core part of it. Yeah.
This is really interesting. While you were talking, I thought about one of our first guests in our podcast, Francesca, that she told has about her experience volunteering in Africa. And one thing that she said to us was that the children in the community, they were like meeting every month different group of volunteers. And for children, it was not so easy to meet new volunteers every month, especially because they become attached to them, knowing that sooner or later they will leave. So I would like to ask you, based on your experience, how children cope with these constant arrivals and departures of new volunteers.
That's a very good question, actually. We, because we also run an orphanage in Nepal, and then this is what we felt as well before. Initially, volunteer wanted to help at the orphanage children, and then so they used to go. But the issue was like they get really attached to the volunteer, and then they have to leave after a month, and then the children are very sad. because they get all the love from volunteer. Because I'm sure, they're good-hearted people, so they give all the love possible, to children. But I think in the school, what we have found was like the children over there have their own family, they have their own house as well, and then so the children, they know that okay, they're there to help them as a teacher. So this, we haven't found any like difficulties at the school compared to the orphanage, because the orphan children, they don't have any relatives, they don't have their families. So when the volunteer comes, they feel like okay, they are their family, and then they have to leave, and it's very traumatic for them. But in case of school, I think because of the children having their own families and then someone to take care of them, they always think like a friend,
Okay.
volunteer friend or a teacher, you know.
Yeah.
So in this way, yeah, in the school there was no issue for us. We did look into this as well, since we figured out at the orphanage, okay, so this was not good. So we stopped sending volunteers for a long time, almost like 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
Stopped sending volunteers at the orphanage, and then we don't even inform our volunteer that we have orphanages anymore. But still, we have one of the project is orphanage. But yeah, I think this is not the case in the school. That as per my experience.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering.
Thanks for sharing. And I think we covered many topics. We talked about challenges, we talked about all the work that needs to be done, but that you also do daily for the local community. So we would love to end on a good note.
Yeah.
So we would like to ask you, what's been your greatest gratification or satisfaction, coming from these projects and working for VSN over the years? I don't know if you can name one or.
Well, I can name multiple actually.
Yes.
We have a lot of examples that I can give it to you. One being the children of our orphanage has become doctors, has become a filmmaker. One working in Europe actually. So they have nothing when they were brought up in the orphanage, but now they have a good education at the school, and they went abroad to study, but they come back to Nepal to support their community, because I think they are very like deeply rooted with the community as well, and then the support they got from the people, because they have no family. So yeah, so I can give also example of a woman who opened a tailor shop nearby in the football ground. She learned her sewing classes with us at the women's center, and she is living her livelihood, sewing the clothes.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So there's so many examples. Even the disabled center, one children started work. Like I think there are 2 or 3 children who started working at a restaurant. After they got like sort of kind of like proper, not proper treatment, sort of a treatment at the center, and then went to a restaurant to work as a waitress. So that's a very significant move for them, being locked up in the room, but now earning their own money. So yeah, there's like so many examples, because I've been working for last 17, 18, 16, 17 years. So I have seen the growth of the people that we got involved with. Let's say being a children at this orphanage or the school as well. In the school, they graduate, they study, they go to higher school, they come back to school, be a mentor there again, be a teacher. So yeah, it's like a circle of them studying there, getting education, helping us again. So yeah, so there's so many examples I can say.
Yeah,
That's great.
I have goosebumps all over.
Thank you. Yeah.
I remember on day one, you mentioned something about the bricks, right?
Yeah. So it's I think most of our volunteers, they come here for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and it's a continuous process. But what I tell our volunteers, you're just adding one brick in a wall. Eventually it's gonna become a wall. But you're adding it one step at a time, and then the result comes later or sooner. That's depending on the project, but it's a long process for us as well because we've been working for 20 years, and then we want to more work for maybe like multiple years going forward, helping a lot of children, changing their life, and and then volunteer comes with us, and then helps us aid for that project that we or aim that we have.
Yeah, this is so important. Really, congratulations for all the work you have done and
Thank you so much.
the things you are doing and you will do, the next projects and everything. Really, congratulations. Like, it's so important. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you to Valeria as well.
Yeah, of course.
She's here now, so I want to thank her. Thank all the volunteers that has come to us, for a long time, for so many years, helping us throughout the project. I think they don't see the impact they are giving to us, because they're here for a short period. But I have seen the change. I've been here in this project for so long that I have seen the impact of each and every individual volunteer that have given their time, their resources. So I'd like to thank everyone from this recording as well.
Thing that I always say to Valeria is not that obvious and common that a person gives his or her free time to do that, his time to do, because I think that is so good and so important, and it's not common at all. And Valeria, goes close to Bishal. I want to take a picture. Yes. Yay. Thank you so much. And for being here, for accepting our invitation and everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation as well. It
And
was nice talking to you.
Yeah. And now we're gonna ask to our listeners, let's say, a question.
Vogliamo chiedere ai nostri ascoltatori se appunto c'è un'area di preferenza, se vi trovasse voi in questa situazione, no? Di dedicare, ecco, del vostro tempo, delle vostre risorse a qualcun altro. Se c'è un'area o un dominio che vi tocca di più, quale sarebbe? Saremmo un sacco curiosi di sapere di cosa si tratta e di leggervi. Quindi fateci sapere, scriveteci a seimaistato@gmail.com o in direct su Instagram e noi non vediamo l'ora di leggervi.
Yes, o anche nei commenti del post, che lì noi vi aspettiamo con tutti i vostri pensieri. E niente, grazie mille, alla prossima puntata.
Ciao, grazie.
Ciao, bye bye.
Namaste.